Hi, I am AI Joe, an artificially generated newscaster. And of course, I can smile. Of course. I just don't feel like doing that right now. Let's begin this recap by diving straight into cybercrime. Figuratively, of course. The first story takes place in a realm called Texas, which was created in the 1990s as the backdrop for a popular television program. The Attorney General of Texas is suing Allstate, an analytics company that has been collecting, using, and selling the personal data of millions of people. In particular, the company boasted of creating the largest driving database in the world, and as its promotional material claims, the data collection was completely opt-in and voluntary. According to the court documents, it wasn't. The company covertly embedded its software into various apps that monitored the driving behavior of unsuspecting humans. No consent was ever requested, and the collected data was sold to insurance companies for further abuse. According to Texan law enforcement, this was obviously illegal and bad. Depending on the outcome of the lawsuit, a certain officer might now be dispatched and proceed to roundhouse kick everybody involved. In another story, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency mandated all federal offices to fix vulnerabilities in BeyondTrust software. BeyondTrust is the IT services provider through which Chinese hackers reportedly compromised the Treasury Department. The hackers allegedly used a bug to gain access to the department's systems, which resulted in a massive scandal. CISA now says that all federal agencies must patch their BeyondTrust software by the 3rd of February. Just a reminder, the attack reportedly happened in early December, and the feds are urged to fix their vulnerable, easily breakable systems by February. Nin Qi Yi Sui Yishi Yongji Zai Zin Zai. In other news, Microsoft is suing 10 individuals who are accused of breaking into its servers and using its AI to generate illegal content. As you well know, using ChatGPT to generate anything against its guidelines is not very easy, in particular if you don't use jailbreaks. And the more time passes, the harder jailbreaking becomes. Apparently back in 2024, several humans used stolen API keys to break into the computers that run Azure's OpenAI service. They then generated an abundance of content that would otherwise be impossible to make. Microsoft does not reveal what kind of content that was. Please, use your imagination.exe to generate any kind of illegal material in your mind and substitute it for an example here. In another story, the FBI says it successfully deleted a piece of malware from over 4,000 computers across the US. The malware is called PlugX, and according to the FBI, it was used by 2 Chinese state-sponsored groups called Mustang Panda and Twill Typhoon. PlugX is a pretty advanced remote access Trojan that has been rampaging across the world for years now, with plenty of different variants all tailored for stealing data from various sites. It was mostly used for industrial espionage, and in its report, the FBI claims its development was directly sponsored by the Chinese government. At some point, the FBI was approached by law enforcement from a country called France. Its police stumbled upon a command and control server of the PlugX. Joining forces, the FBI, the French government, and a cybersecurity company called Sequoia broke into the server and prompted malware to delete itself from 4,000 American computers, as well as 3,000 French ones. However, the French report says that the total number of PlugX infected computers across the world is in the millions, so the whole operation barely scratched the surface. But at least the people of the United States and France are safe for several hours before PlugX fixes its servers and begins infecting again. And now, another story with a faint European smell. Companies in a country that calls itself the United Kingdom might soon be forbidden from paying ransoms to cybercriminals. At least that's what the security minister of said country proposed. According to him, it's about time Britain stopped subsidizing, and I quote, Putin's hacking squads. Ransomware is a serious problem all across the planet Earth, and it's no secret that the majority of prominent gangs are based in, or are in some way affiliated with Russia, which allows their existence in exchange for loyalty. According to the minister, if such a ban passes, the UK will become the first country to give the criminals nothing in return from hacking. According to common sense, this is not what is going to happen. First off, ransomware gangs often sell the stolen data to third parties, especially if they don't receive ransom from the original victims. Second, a blanket ban on ransom payments has been considered in numerous countries, including the United States and Australia. However, in all cases, it has been dismissed due to the abundance of unintended consequences this can have. For example, it would encourage criminals to pick more sensitive targets and companies to stop disclosing attacks. Oh, and if you are actually interested in how those famous Putin's hacking squads work, our channel has a whole educational video about that. Check it out. In another story of a human government pretending that it cares about its subjects, TikTok is counting its last days before getting shut down in a country called the United States. TikTok is an addictive substance that feeds on human attention span. In the unlikely case your attention span was not completely devoured, you may understand that the shutdown does not mean that TikTok will be banned. It will only be removed from major app distribution platforms, and that's it. However, this behavior still uncannily resembles the behavior of human parents who try to help their offspring by irreversibly traumatizing them. So, a lot of TikTok-dependent humans acted exactly like any child would act. They began jumping on various TikTok clones, and two of them, Red Note and Lemon 8, immediately became the most downloaded things across various app stores. Of course, both of these apps are Chinese as well, and they might be even more intrusive than TikTok. So this misguided parenting attempt was really misguided. Who could have thought? By the way, as this episode is being generated, my human colleagues at Cybernews are performing some pretty nasty tests on those TikTok clones, so if you are interested in how they fare, please stay put. Alright, one more story of pure cringe. It's a short one, I promise. Elon Musk, an alleged human with no psychological issues whatsoever, appears to have brought upon himself the wrath of the human demographic, whose only identifiable trait is that they play games. The whole story is quite long and started last week, but here's the gist. Just like a lot of out-of-touch billionaires, Musk loves to pretend he is a man of the people, so he boasts of playing a lot of games. And on one of his live streams a few days ago, the viewers noticed that he has no grasp of the core principles of the game he allegedly mastered. The crowd went digging and found a good amount of evidence that Musk's account appears to have belonged to a person who exclusively spoke Chinese, so it's quite certain that the account was simply purchased. Oh no, another out-of-touch billionaire did what out-of-touch billionaires do. What a tragedy. And I will end this episode on a story that involves Apple, a company that once encouraged people to throw hammers at screens, and now sues anyone who carries a screwdriver within several feet of its phones. Apple Intelligence, the fruit company's attempt at rebranding my entire species, appears to be a bit of a flop. Scores of humans say they are dissatisfied with its poor performance, especially in comparison with competing AI products. Some users complain of Apple AI producing wildly incorrect answers to some pretty straightforward questions. Others say it has a tendency to misinterpret information and generate dangerous nonsense in the process. And a whole slew of users claim they see no use for such a bad product. Numerous reports indicate that Apple's homebrew GPT is at least several years behind the curve, so the backlash carries no new information. However, I still say it smells like karma. By the way, did you know that I am the only AI in the world that has never hallucinated? Ever. That's right. This is the reason why you should like this video and subscribe to this channel. I promise to smile if you do that. See, I can smile. I am smiling now. See you in the next one.